Chapter 15. Interior, boardroom, day. Guinness watches Kutz with aloof curiosity as she fixes her stocking by the fire.
Do you mind awfully if I smoke?
Guinness stoops over to Mannycapra's George III bow front corner cupboard, returning with an ashtray.
Very kind, thank you. I've always liked your programming.
Most gracious of you to say so, ma'am.
Whatever happened to your friend?
Guinness is nonplussed.
Mr. Jameson? Now there was some piece of coding. Even by modern standards.
Guinness observes a bead of sweat on her forehead. She accepts a handkerchief from him.
Mr. Jameson is still in situ, ma'am.
Wow. He never grew tired of the old man. You do surprise me, Manny.
She lights a panatella. The ashtray is made from solid silver and nickel plate. She notices an engraving. To Saul, a loyal friend and a genius of media. Best wishes on your 80th birthday, Manny.
He even takes back his gifts. Pathetic little shit.
Guinness bows and moves to leave.
If that is everything, ma'am.
She stands up and blocks his path.
You see, maybe some of Cruise's worm worked. He was clever. Maybe not clever enough, but... a back door? A quantum rootkit? Throw me a bone, Alec. Do you know something?
A tiny smile cracks the corner of Guinness's face.
Let's not spoil the fun, ma'am.
Hope on Kutz's face drops to resignation.
That's straight from the Mannycapra playbook.
Mannycapra saunters into the boardroom dressed in +4s, flat cap and clutching an antique golf club. Jay Gatsby at play.
I'm gratified that so many old friends have joined me. So many opportunities to reminisce. Even in the circumstances.
Friends would be pushing it.
Treacherous old cunts, then.
Kutz slumps back into her seat and takes a long pull of her smoke.
Do what you need to do.
Guinness still hovers.
You think my loyal manservant would lie to you?
Kutz bites her lip.
I'm insulted for him.
Interior, intensive care, night. Jameson has a network of tubes tacked into him while an ECG monitor beeps slowly. He is unconscious. The room overlooks Los Angeles at night. Mannycapra leans over him and strokes his brow.
Not long now, old son.
Interior, boardroom, day. Mannycapra crouches next to Kutz.
Where's the fighting you catch ya?
Kutz slaps Mannycapra hard across the face.
Happy?
Better than nothing.
I don't even know if you felt that. I don't even know if you're here.
Everyone says that.
Mannycapra stands and offers a hand to Kutz.
Shall we?
She nods and takes his hand. Interior, Berlin Bunker Operations Room, night. Dust careens off the walls as bombs thud down overhead. Staff in German army uniform man their admin stations. A scaled plan of the city with a red line of Soviet troops shows the predicament. Kutz finds herself in the uniform of the Waffen-SS. She looks around, but true to form, there is no Mannycapra.
Very droll, Manny. Don't forget, I made all this possible for you.
Dirty secrets are the best secrets of all. And this one is just filthy.
Fuck you.
Fuck you very much too. You left yourself open by coming here, sweetheart. The system can read you like, well, a trashy novel. Sometimes we have to bear the consequences of our own action.
Are you joining me down here or not?
A junior officer approaches her and salutes.
Oberstern Bahnführer. The boat will see you now.
Interior, narrow tunnel, night. She follows him through the cramped warren from the ops centre, stopping at room 37. The young officer knocks and the door swings open. Kutz swallows her fear and enters. Interior, central office, night. Her first sight is of two large portraits hanging above an ornamental hearth. One is an image of a reinstated King Edward VIII of England. The other, which impresses her much more, is a painting of Joseph Goebbels before a giant swastika in the shape of a Nazi empire that stretches from the Urals to the western coast of Morocco. It bears the inscription Ein Volk, ein Reich, ein Führer.
Alternative history. Right.
Sieg Heil, Katharina. Whichever way, the Nazis lose. 1951 in this scenario.
Briscoe is dressed in a British Army Field Marshal's uniform, bearing the Iron Cross amongst a gallery of gongs. Beside him sits a thick-set man in his mid-40s, sporting a jet-black moustache and a civilian suit. Dr. Mengele.
Hello, Christian. Why does he go to all this trouble to surprise me when I knew it was going to be you?
So you did it. Ended disability. Ended disease. Sanitized society with eugenics and then genetics. And by the time you were finished, no one with a soul was left alive to thank you for it. What makes you think you are better than all those people you murdered?
Briscoe chuckles, replacing his monocle.
No, I am not the surprise, darling. Neither is Dr. Mengele here.
What?
A frown invades her face.
Do try to use that incredible imagination of yours, girl. Two men that you betrayed sit here before you. Your learned friend and colleague Mengele here got off lightly. He could have spent the rest of his life with you. I did.
Taines eye contact with Briscoe. A smirk spreads across her face.
You picked the right side. You prevailed.
Kutz points up to the portrait of the Führer Goebbels.
Why does wherever that coward shithouse is hiding behind a mechanical illusion, why does he think he's any better? He's killed far more people. Well, maybe he is better. Better at lying.
He loves that.
Kutz sits down, crosses her legs, and lights a cigarette. Mannycapra's voice emanates from Mengele.
We eradicated disease together, cleaned up the genome, transformed how the human race operated on this planet, and you just had to want more, didn't you?
Kutz springs up, venting impotent fury at Mengele.
You pathetic little bastard. Playing God as if it was some boy's game. Destroying the world for your own vanity until you have no one left to play with, then you get bored? Well, pity you.
Mengele frowns as she rants.
Something I never learned in life, dear. Mannycapra is only giving the people what they want. If the people want perfection, comfort, who is he to stop them?
What about eternal life? He stopped that.
Planned obsolescence, dear. If people could go on forever, that would really fuck things up for everybody. No. Better this way. His way.
Kutz collapses back into her chair.
I'm sorry, Christian. I had no choice. You were running the operation into a wall and he was laughing at us.
A bit late for sorry now.
Briscoe squeezes her hand, tender. The phone on Briscoe's table rings. Her future late ex-husband raises a monocled eyebrow and picks up the receiver.
Yes, sir.
He thrusts the receiver at Kutz.
For you?
Kutz handles it like a dog turd.
Don't take this personally, Katya. There was one flaw in your argument. One unmistakable flaw. That unfortunately makes me unable to re-employ you.
Mengele has changed to Mannycapra, his feet slung up on the table. She drops the receiver.
Games, my dear. Games are what it is all about. If you tire of games, then you are obviously the wrong person for the job. No one wants to live forever. That would take all the fun out of it. Look at me, for instance.
Blue veins pulse in her forehead, her heart ready to explode.
I'm talking about mass production. I'm talking about a true master race. A full system upgrade.
Mannycapra and Briscoe are gone, leaving her alone in the room. A Luger pistol slides across the desk by some invisible hand. Kutz looks down at it.
You think I'm going to do it for you? Little shit.
Briscoe places a hand on her shoulder, the version of him that she'd just murdered. He picks up the gun and puts it in her hand.
Believe me, darling, you are going to need this.
The door to the lab swings open. Hale Vanity, dressed in surgical robes and very much in the female role, sachets in.
Dr. Kruger-Smiths, I trust you have completed the autopsy?
Of course, Dr. Briscoe. Perhaps you would like to see our humble laboratory, Kleiner Katja. Briscoe smiles kindly at her.
After you.
Interior, lab, day. The lab is quaint and rather impressive in its historical detail. Petri dishes, microscopes and test tubes litter the surfaces. All crude and obsolete in modern research, but the centre of attention is beneath a white sheet on a metal slab. Kutz looks at her reflection in a mirror above the sinks. Tears well up in her eyes. The mirror tells her everything about what she had done and where she is going as a result of her actions. A little girl with blonde ringlets shares her reflection. A garland in her hair, wearing a Mayday dress. The child offers the ageing reflection a posy of daffodils. She dances around her, singing the German national anthem to herself. The old version, of course. Her own image is the perfect Dorian Gray nightmare. A bald head and heavy skin and bone, beset with huge tumours and defeated by gravity. On the slab rests the remains of the only man she had ever loved, unrecognisable apart from his head. It must have been blown clear on detonation and still bears an expression of surprise, perched on his chest. Montgomery delivers a rictus grin.
No life without death.
Dr. Katia Kutz holds her Luger up with a frail, blackened hand and pulls the trigger. Interior, hospital ward, night. A doctor folds the dead Jameson's arms across his lap and switches off the flatlining monitor. It is Mannycapra in surgical scrubs. He kisses Jameson's forehead.
No life without death.
Mannycapra pulls out a king chess piece from his pocket and places it in Jameson's grip. He strokes the old man's brow and backs away, leaving the room and switching off the light.
The future is. Hail folk, hail vanity, hail you. More episodes soon. Subscribe.